Hello everyone, welcome back to card number 3 of our new core book featured paper pack called Celebrating You, which starts on page 10 in the catalog. And this is the paper pack. It's really pretty, so if you haven't seen it yet, make sure to watch the previous videos. I will link them on the bottom for you. And then we also are gonna use the stem set and this little contraption which does the pull-out part of your card. And if you have not seen this, so this is a special right now we're currently offering. It's called Celebrating You, and they come in bundle for card workshops or scrapbooking workshops. And in this case we are following instructions for the card workshop. And I will also show you finished pages from the scrapbooking workshop in another video. So these are if you buy the bundle, beside the paper pack, you will get the stem set, which is your Deserve It All. And it comes with the dies and the stems to get your packages done, which is really nice. You also get in the bundle this set, which is the thin cut pull tab. It's got some instructions here, and I will show you how to use those on the project. All right, let's get started. So here we are, our little pull-out machinery. And like I always tell you, if you are like me and you stamp the insides of your card, make sure to stamp them first, that everything is nice decorated on the inside before you start working on your outside. Reason being, if anything screws up for whatever reason, and sometimes things happen, if this doesn't turn out here, you just flip it over. This side will be covered up by us, in this case anyway, completely. And now you have a clean second chance to do your inside work. So always remember, do your insides first before you start working on your outsides. All right, I have all the papers pre-cut and ready to go, so you don't have to watch me cutting and doing things. But if you like to get the cutting instructions, the measurements, have other questions, just please leave me a comment or contact me. I'm happy to help out and give you those. All right, so let's cover our card front. And then we have this one here, which is kind of in the center. And I will put this down in the center here. And I'm just eyeballing. You can be precise and be accurate, but I'm usually good at eyeballing. Just one thing I have to check, because you know me, I sometimes don't cut things the way they should be cut. So let me just double check that I have this right here in the instructions before I tell you anything wrong. So this is, see, yep, okay, all good. All right, now the next thing would be to put these two pieces down, and they're kind of like in between our main card. Now, to make sure that there's enough peeking out, I just dry fit it. So this is the piece that goes in the middle, and they will go around here. So what I will do is I take this off, and then I take my strips, so it's like a quarter, it's like a quarter of an inch of the blue showing on either side. So we can move this around a little bit. One thing I just see is, I know you might notice that I'm not using the design paper with the polka dots. Reason being, I use this piece for a different project, and so I'm just I just made up my mind, my own with some paint and stuff. So if yours is not exactly like mine, that's why. All right, now let's start with our mechanism. As I have shown in the past, so this is the big part, the slider part. When you get this, make sure you see where the score lines are. On the back side, it's a little bit more fainted, so we want to see the creases, the nice creases, so you know that this is the good side. And you just fold it in the back on your score line. Fold this one in the back on your score line and crease it. Make sure you crease it nicely. Then we use some adhesive. And glue it shut. So this is the back side. If you happen to have this reverse, which is not a big deal, it's just there's a seam here, and it's nicer when this disappears in the front, in the back, so you don't see it. See here, this is nice and clean while the seam is on the back side, but not a big deal if for whatever reason it should stick out. So then we take this, fold this inward, and again using my bone folder to give it a nice crease. Do the other side, same thing, inward, and then the 2 half circles we're gonna fold outward. There's one, and there's 2. Okay, and then we have this little piece which has 2 creases. You do the longer one and then the shorter one, and then we do the longer one, and we put a little bit of adhesive on here and also glue it shut and place it on top of our slider mechanism, like so. Okay, next thing is you have to put foam adhesive on the back side of the piece where you cut your slit in. And remember, we were talking in the other video about how tall the slit has to be, because you get 3 different ones, and 1 inch, 1.5, and 2 inch piece. So this is the 1.5, and the reason for being 1.5 is because my package looks like this, and while this part sits on top, everything underneath is gonna be the one part that gonna be disappear and has to slide out. And when you measure this part, it's about 1.5 inches, so that's why we're using the 1.5, so the middle piece of this one. And I colored mine, I know I colored this one different a little bit, just to show you, you know, it doesn't really matter how you color those in. I use a little bit of the glitter gel there, which we will do here too, and this is how I like to set mine up. Okay, and so we're lining this up, and then you have to place foam adhesive, again the thin kind, on the back. You want to make sure to stay to the outside of your package and a little bit on the bottom. Don't go too close to the slider here, you know, so you have room to slide in and out. So I prepared this one already, and then same as with this one, where the slider mechanism goes in, we need to raise it, so this is foam tape as well. And don't put foam tape down here where the opening is, because our slider has to go up and down here. And the slider that we just put back together, I'm gonna fold these 2 upright like this and stick them from the back side through the slit here, so it's nice and flat down here. Push it all the way down, and here you go. You fold them back open, and there's your mechanism. Now and the other card I showed you, this one is supposed to hold this piece in place. So right now it can jiggle a lot, but if we put this down here somewhere, it should fit nicely and shouldn't jiggle at all. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a little bit adhesive on that white piece, just a little bit, to keep it in place where I want it to be. So let's see, that looks good. Push it down for a second while we're looking at our main card. And as you can see, so this piece lines up with the top and the bottom here, and just the blue pieces peek out a little bit. So while this is drying, we can remove the backing of our foam tape. And you always want to use the thin foam tape, because it just doesn't make your card so bulky, and it doesn't need a lot. I always add a little bit adhesive here too, so it's gonna stick to both sides, front and back. Make sure your two bubbles are out here, and then let's place this on the card, and here we go. And your slider should go up and down. And if we want to, we can start cutting here. And if you're not sure where this is, so it's all the way down, so this is where your card ends. Now you can pull it out and maybe just cut a little bit off, and then I cut a little fin in here, or you can use that little round circle tab that comes with the set for your pull out. This one here, if you wanted to. I just did this in this case. All right, now as we have done in the past, we need a glue dot, and again I use one of my big glue dots. I just rip a piece off and there's my glue dot. And then what I like to do is squeeze those apart, and then take my glue dot and kind of like line it up with those two halves. Squish it down, pull the backing up. Sometimes it's stuck a little bit harder, so I just have to rub it a little bit more. And once you get one side going, the glue dot comes off. Murphy's Law. There we go. Sometimes it just has a little edge where it's still sticking to the transfer sheet. Here we go. Okay, now you can see there's the glue dot is on my circle, and as you can see, the large glue dots from Zot, they fit perfectly in there, so there's still a little bit opening. So now to place my mechanism, we remove the backing. Now we center it again. This is where I like it to be. I hold it in place, and now I'm just holding my, so it's like a 1/4 inch down from the end here where you want the end of your package to be. So I'm just eyeballing it again, pushing it down, making sure it sticks, and here we go. And there's your slider. For our little XXOs, again, make sure when you pull this out, you're not interfringing with those two X's here. So you want to make sure they're placed right at the edge, so you can easily move this up and down. So we're just gonna put a dot here and a dot here, and they are really light, thin acrylic pieces. And here's the big one, and I keep mine slid out so I know how far over I can go. And there you have it. So this is the third card of the set you're making, and as mentioned before, it doesn't really matter how you decorate them. You can do them in your own style, you can do them in your own colors, whatever you feel happy with. I see I did a blue edge on this one, which I forgot, but no harm done. I can carefully go and just edit after the fact. And if you're afraid that you're gonna get something underneath, I'm just using my clear acetate sheet here. Just push it underneath, that way you cover your card in case you get over the edge. But there you have it. All right. Speaking of OCD, all right. And then you can use your stickles or any other decoration things you have. And in this case, we could do every other line too with stickles. I always like, so if you don't know which color to get, I always like the clear ones because they go with everything. So if you're not sure which ones to get, start with the clear one. Same as with the shimmer brushes. The clear ones are easy to use. And then if you like, we can do the polka dots here still. Just a few. Okay. There you go. So these are the cards you're gonna make with this really awesome set. Here's one of the others that still has to dry. And then what happened to my third one? Here's my third one with them on. There you go. So these are the cards that this workshop kit's gonna do. And as I promised you, few more ideas for using this mechanism, which you get in the bundle and you can use for other projects too. So besides decorating them in the colors with the papers that we just used here, they're perfect for Christmas cards too. You just use Christmas card paper, Christmas colors, red, green, gold, silver, blues, and then the corresponding background papers, and you can do the same cards instead of happy birthday, merry Christmas, happy new year, you name it. So there's a lot of varieties. Or if you have one of our old gnome sets, or the one I think years ago we had a little elf, that would be cute to popping out of a container, for example. We also have this new set, which I thought might be a great idea to use with this type as well, and that is, let me see if I find it here quickly. I got it here. So this is our season haul, and this might be a cute one to use too, where you actually like when we put the packages on top of the car, and instead of cutting this short, you just put your little message down here and you can pull the whole thing up. Or the Christmas tree can fall off the car, the pumpkins can fall off. So there might be a couple of things we can use this to, or any other stem set you have at home where you know you have enough to cover the front, and it doesn't have to be a square. in a card. I mean, it could be just a piece of paper where you just have a greeting pulling out. It doesn't have to be a present, like in this case. It's cuter, but there are ways to go around this and just make your own pop-ups with the technique and this great die that I showed you. So I hope you enjoyed this little walkthrough and the cards, and I hope you will get this paper pack, and especially the bundle as long as it's available, because that's a great deal. You save around 20% when you buy it as a bundle, and it makes some really gorgeous cards. And I will show you the workshop for the scrapbooking pages next time. So they're already pre-done, so there's no gluing together but I will show you how they end up looking like, and then what changes I made and what we use, so you get a little bit a better idea of what to do with those. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day and see you back soon. Thanks. Bye bye.